Hello and welcome to today's webinar entitled Local JRAC, Establishment and Annual Reports. My name is Chris Goff. I serve as an Associate Justice on the Indiana Supreme Court. I also serve as Chair of the Indiana Justice Reinvestment Advisory Council, or State JRAC. Thank you for taking the time to attend today's webinar. This is the second in a series of webinars designed to assist local justice stakeholders to successfully establish and make use of their county's local JRAC. In the first webinar in this series, we discussed the purpose and requirements of local JRACs. We also discussed State JRAC's role in helping local JRACs improve public safety and community well-being by implementing evidence-based best practices to achieve better outcomes. JRAC is designed to serve as the ultimate state and local partnership with a statutory infrastructure that will enable dialogue among and between the statewide leadership of every stakeholder group in Indiana's justice system and all three branches of state government. The statutory infrastructure creates an unprecedented opportunity for Indiana's justice professionals to exchange ideas and information, conduct training, and target resources where they are most needed. Throughout today's webinar, you will hear how different jurisdictions form their local JRAC and what considerations went into determining their local structure. In webinar 1, I discussed my experience as a member of my county's problem-solving court team and how that provided an infrastructure through which our local justice stakeholders gained common knowledge about the justice system we all worked in, but from different roles and perspectives. By meeting together regularly to discuss issues of common concern, we gained respect for each other as professionals and appreciation for the importance of each other's work. We became genuine partners engaged in making our community better, and that is my hope for each of you. And my partners and I stand ready to help you in this important work. This webinar will also assist your local JRAC meet its statutory requirement to submit its first annual report. This report is due in March of 2022. The annual report for the first year will consist of a survey to collect data to begin to understand how individual counties approach criminal justice decision-making at the system level, the services available in your county, and what data collection and performance measurement efforts you have in place locally. You can submit questions to our panelists throughout the webinar through the question and answer tab at the bottom of your screen. We will formally conclude at 2:30, but participants are invited to remain for a 15-minute question and answer session where we will address as many of your questions as possible. Any questions we are unable to answer will be addressed in a question and answer summary after the webinar. Let me start by introducing the local JRACs participating in today's webinar. You will hear from different council members on how they form their local JRAC from Cass, Jefferson, Johnson, Montgomery, and Morgan counties. As we begin, remember the importance of genuine local partnerships and think about how you can use this new state and local partnership through JRAC to improve your community. And finally, as I discussed in the first webinar, remember the importance of collegiality as you undertake this important work. Thank you for all you do to make your communities safer and to make Indiana better. Each of you has a critical role to play as we partner to make Indiana safer and to increase well-being in our communities. I look forward to working with you.
Hi, my name is Hillary Hartoin, and I am the Court and Pretrial Services Director from Cass County, and I recently began serving as the president of our local JRAC Council. When developing our local JRAC, we really tried to look at the individual needs of our county when deciding to branch out from our Community Corrections Advisory Board. While we still work collaboratively, we really decided to look at the individual needs of each county in our existing program. While one county has Veterans Court and JDAI, another county has court services and pretrial. So with our different priorities and needs, such as local jail overcrowding, we decided that separating into local councils was best for us, and we found that it really has opened up the channels of local communication. One thing that we also did was to decide to add to our local member list outside of those statutory requirements. So we really looked at our local criminal justice stakeholders and leaders to make sure that everyone had a voice and a chance to be heard. When doing that for your county, I really suggest looking at your local structure and your local programming. Do you have a mental health court? Do you have a JDI initiative? Consider adding those onto your statutory member list. For us here, we added JDAI, but we also looked at our local structure. Juvenile and adult probation are governed as separate entities, so it made sense to have both chief probation officers. So as we were moving forward, we early on established our bylaws with our county council and commissioners to make sure that that was formalized for the future moving forward and that everybody was on there for voting rights. Started meeting on a monthly basis, and one thing that we started early on was asking each entity to really look at their needs and their data reporting so that as we began meeting, we would have a local starting point. We elected our office holders, myself, but we also have our vice chair, who is our community corrections director. While we're separate, we still work really closely with community corrections, consider everybody together as equal players. Really wanted to foster a team environment where everybody had a voice and a chance to be heard, where we weren't competing with each other, but that we were working collaboratively to just support a common goal of creating a continuity of care that flows throughout the system, from when the person's case is heard to community supervision. Some of the challenges that we've had is data collection. Not every agency knows how to collect data or where to go or the starting point. So working together and sharing reports is a big thing. Also, different philosophies when it comes to evidence-based practices and supervision can be a challenge. We've really tried to create a culture in our system that promotes collaboration and sharing of services as we move forward. A problem solving that we were able to do was to open the line of communications with regard to mental health services. Sometimes just getting everybody in a room and talking together about what our challenges are, what our strengths and our weaknesses, a SWOT analysis, so to speak, has helped us just to quickly brainstorm and come together with solutions. Again, like I said before, while we're not under the Community Corrections Advisory Board, we still work closely with that, and we're all very much involved in team players. Why I don't have a place on the Community Corrections Advisory Board is court services and pretrial director. We all have a voice and report to that board. So it was important that while we overlap, that we create an environment where we can all come together and work collaboratively. We also are working with our sister county and helping them establish a structure that's similar to ours as part of our Community Corrections Advisory Board initiatives. We have identified is for increased collaboration and communication across supervision agencies and also with our county council and commissioners. This has created a need for standardized reporting. While not all agencies in our county are grant funded, the county councils and commissioners through community corrections and the pretrial program have really grown to appreciate and gotten used to data collection and metrics such as appearance rates, public safety rates, cost savings, staffing reports. These type of things are really appreciative to the county council and commissioners when you're going before them and requesting funding. This standardized reporting that is first fostered through our pretrial policy and stakeholder team allowed us to get the local buy-in when we were forming our JRAC. I really encourage you to develop metrics and things that also speak to your audience. For example, our prosecutors and our sheriff, local law enforcement, such as our local police department, they're more interested in metrics such as public safety and recidivism, while our local council, of course, is looking at cost savings and policy. It's been suggested through JRAC that we take those data collection methods and those metrics and that we spread them across community supervision agencies. So that's one of our goals of our local JRAC, is to really start looking at public safety violation rates and recidivism rates for not only pretrial, but for community corrections and adult and juvenile probation. This is one thing that's really allowed us to get the buy-in of our local council and commissioners. They really like the transparency across all agencies, not only for local funding, but also to see what we're about. And that's something, it's a chance for you to be heard on a different platform locally and to really expand your group of stakeholders and of policy members.
Good afternoon, all. My name is Andrea Geigel. I'm the Chief Probation Officer for Montgomery County, and I'm currently serving as the chair for our local Justice Reinvestment Advisory Council. Montgomery County is a bit unique in that we are one of 5 counties within a regional community correction. Our community correction program is West Central Regional Community Corrections. It covers Montgomery, Fountain, Vermilion, Warren, and Park counties. Initially, we considered having our Community Corrections Board serve as our local JRAC versus creating a new council. But as you all know, it's sometimes challenging to find one more time or time for one more meeting. So initially, we thought it'd be easier to combine the JRAC quarterly meetings along with the Community Corrections Board meetings. Ultimately, though, we ended up deciding that because our Community Corrections Board covers 5 separate counties, it was going to be too difficult to meet the needs of each individual county. So we opted to create a new council. Basically, we got all of our stakeholders together just by shooting out emails to each other. And we set a date for our first council meeting. We actually met in June of 2021, right before the July start date. And all of our statutorily required members attended. So we had our first, all 9 of those. And then at our first meeting, those statutory council members actually voted to add some additional council members. We added our jail commander and a second superior court judge, a second community health provider. That community health provider also serves on our problem-solving court teams, so we thought it was a good fit. And we also added a juvenile probation officer and our assistant chief probation officer. Not only does that give us then the additional added benefits of having the knowledge of our juvenile officer in there, but our assistant chief, he carries the sex offender caseload and other specialty caseloads so that we'd have just a different opinion in there. We also added the assistant jail commander who also serves on our problem-solving court teams. And so ultimately we ended up with a total of 15 individuals serving within our council. We also opted to include these members based on the fact simply that they're kind of the boots on the ground. They're the ones that if we're wanting to look at changing some policy or procedure we've been doing, those boots on the ground are the ones that may know more about what's going on maybe within that setting. Not that necessarily the department head doesn't know, but they would know more of the ins and outs at times. So we wanted to tap into that experience and that expertise. We ultimately elected a chair, and I got that vote, lucky me. And our vice chair is Sheriff Ryan Needham. And we actually went ahead and voted for a secretary, even though that's not statutorily required. But we wanted somebody to be able to take some minutes. We set an agenda for each meeting. We take minutes for each one, review the minutes, send those out. We do a lot of things by email as far as sending things out in advance so that we could review things. If we know there's going to be a specific topic we want to talk about at our next meeting, we'll send out that advance notice so that our council members can come in prepared to have a good conversation. And we took the phrase, don't reinvent the wheel. We took it to heart, and we took our community corrections bylaws simply as a starting point to look at creating bylaws for our JRAC council meeting. And so that's what we did. We created those, we presented them at a meeting. We then sent them electronically to each team member and then did not vote on them until the consecutive meeting so that everybody had plenty of time to review it, to give input. And then we voted on the bylaws and accepted them. At our our second meeting, what we opted to do was do simply an introduction so that all of the council members could know what programs are currently being available and what's offered within our community, and what each council member may have some additional information to share. It's more of a get to know what we currently have. And then at the end of that meeting, we also offered the concept of, is there anything specifically as a county we need to address? And we didn't end up coming up with anything initially. So what we have opted to do is we're going to do a mapping. So we're going to map our local criminal justice process. We're going to have a goal that each council member shares their perspectives or their involvement or their procedures. And basically we're taking a start to finish look of how our criminal justice system works here in Montgomery County. And so as we're doing this mapping process, we plan to work on addressing any gaps or any concerns identified during this process. The nice thing in regards to having a local JRAC is that we're all united and we're all setting aside time to sit down and be present at a table to review our local criminal justice system, and it's giving each stakeholder a voice in the process. We plan to take things one step at a time and learn as we go. And although we by no means are experts in this topic, we are happy to share in any way that we can.
Hi, I'm Brandy Foster Kirkendall, and I'm the court administrator for Johnson County. On the local JRAC, I am the chairperson.
I'm Andy Reesner. I'm judge of the Johnson Circuit Court. I'm a standing member of the JRAC committee.
I'm Angela Morris. I'm the Chief Probation Officer in Johnson County, and I'm the Vice Chair for our local JRAC committee. We picked the other committee to form our local JRAC, and that was based off of history that we had with our juvenile system. So in 2008, Judge Marla Clark formed the Juvenile Practices Improvement Committee. It included our juvenile judge, juvenile prosecutor, juvenile public defender, the juvenile chief probation officer, community corrections, and DCS. It was the same philosophy as the local JRAC, just to get the stakeholders involved to implement system and policy change. And then that's the committee that we rolled out JDAI with for our juvenile system. So in 2019, I was appointed to the chief probation officer spot here in Johnson County. And along with Brandy Kirkendall, we approached Judge Marla Clark again and asked her if she would be willing to help us start up an adult practices improvement committee. It worked well in our juvenile system. There was some hesitation from certain departments, including probation. There were some hurdles that we had to go over, but all in all, I do believe we formed relationships. We made instrumental changes in our system. I do believe it bettered our system and what we had going on. Like I said, in 2019, we formed APIC, and it included the stakeholders that the local JRAC committee requires. COVID hit in 2020, APIC was put on hold. We weren't able to start it back up. And then when the local JRAC rules came out in July of 2021, we were able to roll our APIC committee into the local JRAC. It was a good fit. We had relationships with those stakeholders that are listed statutorily. The ones that weren't already part of APIC, we had coffee with them. We'd have lunch. We would talk about our vision for the system. My vision as far as probation went, Brandy's as far as the courts went. We included our local sheriff so that they saw the relationship between law enforcement and the courts and probation. And that, I think, warmed people up, and having that personal touch with a coffee date or lunch or snack or something to include people in what we were wanting to do and how we were wanting to move forward. We learned that people wanted to be part of it. They wanted to be part of change, systemic change. Then they knew that it worked in our juvenile system when we did it 10, 15 years ago.
in 2019, we did get some things done with APIC before COVID. It was kind of a natural progression when the pretrial release rules came about and we went to the trainings on that as a team. Some of those things were hard to convince team members, but because it was an initiative that we were all going to together, it made it a little bit more seamless for our county to implement pretrial release. So I'd say that was a benefit from our APIC system. Additionally, that year in 2019, our APIC group went to the sequential intercept model training and spent the day together collaborating and identifying gaps in the system. We were able to, as a group, identify some use for that SIM grant money. So there was a natural progression from APIC to JRAC for us because we had those players in place. We also were able to create a CIT initiative that's still ongoing through that group. So that core group really was a real natural progression for us to leapfrog into the JRAC. We didn't have a representative from the county executive or the county council, but because we have pretty good relationships with them and have coffee and lunches with them on a regular basis, we had immediate buy-in from them as well when the statutory members were identified. So bringing them on and getting them up to speed as to what we had been doing is really what we spent the fall of 2021 doing, so that now we've comprised our team. We've let them know what the statutory formation requires. And in 2022, we're going to tack the bylaws and the requirements and really dig into what we are required to do, because what we've done so far is just what the county has identified as needs locally. Outside of the statutorily required members, on our APIC team, we had invited some community stakeholders. So we have, in addition to the mental health community treatment, we have some addiction specialists, a therapist that we have on staff in our probation department. My position and my role as court administrator is outside of the statutory requirement. We actually have a pastor on our team that wants to be community involved and has an addiction meeting in his church. And so he was and is a very active member of our group.
The group that we've had working that started, as Angela noted, a few years ago, I think we sort of cut our teeth, this group did, on the pretrial release reforms. The group worked hard on that, try and develop a model that would work with our stakeholders and was consistent with the mandates of the Supreme Court. And we found some success in doing that. That program continues to be operated here, I think, robustly with buy-in from a prosecutor, local defense bar, and the judges. There are a couple other things that our group has worked on. Probably the most notable is what Brandy made mention of, which is the CIT, the Crisis Intervention Team. That has been an ongoing effort over the course of many months now. I think as recently as maybe last month, we had another training session. Our local sheriff has been a big supporter of this, and as many, if not most, of those who are watching know, this is an effort within communities. Ours, really, the push has been from probation and our law enforcement agencies, most notably the sheriff, to get specialized training for men and women, first responders, law enforcement officers, to deal with those citizens in our communities who are in crisis, and to try and divert those folks, I won't say away from the criminal justice system, but to try and interact with those folks in a way that's not going to lead to more problems, and will hopefully find some solutions that don't necessarily just implicate the criminal justice system. And then Brandy also made mention of the SIM grant, and that was the obtaining of those funds was an outgrowth of work that our group did. So I think we've identified some specific needs. We continue to meet regularly and try to identify others as we move forward.
Hello, everyone. My name is Brian Foley. I am the Chief Probation Officer, Morgan County Court Services. I'm also the Director of Community Corrections, and I am our local JRAC chair. Really, to give a little background on where we come from, we have had an evidence-based decision-making team that has been meeting for about the last 4 years. The involvement of that team includes judges, 2 judges, a prosecutor, county councilman, and a commissioner, prosecutor, a defense counsel, community corrections coordinator, the jail commander, who is basically the sheriff's designee. So really for us, that group had been meeting for approximately 4 years, every month. So when we first learned about the new statute requiring local JRAC, it was a pretty smooth transition to talk about with the team. One of the suggestions that I would have would be to make any board or any kind of group that you're involved in aware of the statute so they have time to consider that as an option. In that way, as basically a key member of our local community corrections advisory board, as soon as we found out about the statute, I disseminated that information to team members. At the same time that we would convene with our evidence-based decision-making team, there was discussion and knowledge that local JRAC was coming in July of 2021. The same thing being said with our community corrections advisory board. In addition to that, I should add that our local judges do meet as a board of judges. So I am a part of that meeting as well. And we also had discussions about the local JRAC requirement with our local board of judges. So everybody had awareness as the discussion started. For us, the transition and the decision of how to manage local JRAC was relatively easy. And the fact that all parties involved felt that the best group to handle that was our evidence-based decision-making team. They had already been working every month on the issues that really align with what is required in the statute. We have addressed our jail treatment program, our jail populations, evidence-based programming, recidivism, overdoses, local issues that involve us all. The decision was, for us, a smaller work group with those key players was the way to go. The only statutory member that we did not have a part of our existing evidence-based group was the mental health administrator. So again, for us, that was pretty easy to get the mental health administrator involved. And then we already had our work group. To give you a little greater understanding of our makeup, we have obviously our all statutorily required members as a part of the local JRAC. We also have 2 judges of criminal jurisdiction. We had 2 judges that were originally involved in our evidence-based decision-making group because they felt it was important. And they certainly wanted to continue in that role on the local JRAC. We also have our county administrator. The county administrator here in Morgan County is appointed by and hired by our local commissioners. In addition to that, with the commissioner and the council person, the county administrator really brings even more knowledge to the table about what is going on in the county, as he is involved in a lot of the financial and planning part of where we're headed here locally. Maybe uniquely, we have a contractual employee that is out of the Justice Partners JPAR grant as a member of our team as well. And this contractual employee is officially a court community outreach liaison. It's a long name. This contractual person has allowed us to touch on the different intercepts in the sequential intercept model. She has been now a part of our team since her existence. So she transitioned from the evidence-based decision-making team directly on our JRAC team. As part of her role in our group, she does provide a monthly update of her activities. So that is another thing that we tie into what we, looking at what we're doing locally, looking at the whole system and all the intercepts in part of our discussions and as part of our goals moving forward. So when July 1st hit, essentially, we just changed our name from our evidence-based decision-making team to our local JRAC team. As the chair of our local JRAC team, one of my roles is to send out monthly meeting reminders. So I email all of our members and include in that email a basic agenda. And I say basic because I really want to keep it open if other people have something to bring to the table. And also, I include an update letter from our court community liaison, which helps prepare the group to know what has occurred in the last month in her role and her position. In addition, as the contact and chair here in Morgan County, I do keep minutes of the meeting and keep the official record. Our local JRAC team has been able to identify some issues that pretty much align directly with the statutory requirements of the group. We consistently and regularly communicate with the jail commander, who is a part of our group, about jail populations. So that is always a continuing dialogue and an evaluation tool to see where we stand. Another issue we've been able to work on is evaluation of our local jail treatment program. By regularly discussing the barriers of that program, we have been able to increase our referrals and to improve essentially all parts of the program. So that is a regular continuing dialogue and evaluation process. In addition to that, we have worked very hard to address court flow. And when I say court flow, I mean paperwork, communication, dissemination of information specifically to our local jail. So that can include the warrant process, criminal summons, transport orders, in addition to how the court refers to court services here, which court services includes community corrections and probation. By continually looking at ways to improve that process, we have saved a lot of energy and effort. Another key area that we have identified prior to the start of our local JRAC group from the foundation of our evidence-based decision-making team was our local pretrial services program. It really allowed us to set up an effective local option for us for pretrial services that we commenced on January 1st of 2020. And it's something we constantly and consistently review as part of our team. Moving forward, we still have discussions and review and evaluation of our successes and failures, and really just trying to determine what is the best practices locally with that program. By having input from the prosecutor, defense attorney, the jail staff, courts all together, really processes like that, I feel, at least for us, have been very successful for people to be able to look out of their own lens and their own view and to see different perspectives, which certainly has aided us in improving our program. Morgan County is fortunate that we are not in an overcrowded, problematic jail population situation, but we consistently review jail population numbers, average lengths of incarceration, and try to tie that into how we're working through our pretrial services program, jail commitments, jail stays, and looking at the most effective sentencing that we can practice. Another key point we have been looking at with our JRAC team is how to expedite the moving of criminal cases to reduce the time period it takes to process a person from when the charge is filed till when they're actually sentenced or disposed of. And really our partnership in having the prosecutor, defense attorneys, the judges involved in that has allowed us to look at different ways in a different perspective into how we could accomplish that. And one of the concrete results of that has been, I think, more effective plea agreements that assist at the early stage of a criminal case to move it through the system a little quicker. We've also incorporated in that plea agreement process a more effective referral to our jail treatment program. So looking at all those ideas together, we've made many achievements, and that being a significant one. We are also in the process of reviewing and addressing mental health needs in our community. Where are there barriers? What are we doing right? What can we do better? Having the mental health administrator as a part of our team has certainly helped in those discussions. By having our court community liaison as a part of our group, by having the involvement of a commissioner and county council member, our group really has been able to proactively communicate with those folks. Really, I see the benefit in many ways. It probably depends in your own county, what your relationships are with those other stakeholders. When I say proactive, I think when they know what we're doing every day, what the courts are doing, what the jail's doing, what the whole criminal justice system is doing, they see the benefits of our evidence-based decision-making, the ways that we are effectively doing things, saving the county money, and really trying to meet our goals and address recidivism and the needs that all too many of our offenders and clients have. Going forward into other meetings with those officials, I think that background and that foundation is very important. The role that they have with our group does bring a different perspective and allows us to see things differently too. For those of you still looking at the most effective way or trying to determine the most effective way to set up a local team, I truly can say that including all members on the front end discussions, including everyone's thoughts on what would be the best practice has worked for us. We included the Community Corrections Advisory Board in those discussions. As soon as we had knowledge of the statute, all the members of the board and both boards were aware what was coming. Having that foundational knowledge, I think, sets people at ease and allows timely discussions for any concerns that someone would have. The judges have been a part of the buy-in to evidence-based decision-making. And I think when I say the buy-in, it would include the local JRAC team. For us, it was a matter of switching hats, and it was relatively seamless to accomplish. For others, I'm sure it's not quite so easy if you don't have an existing format that you can fall into. But I would suggest and recommend that you rely on your local judiciary, include your judges. For Morgan County, our initial meetings, just getting together with this group of people that are required as stakeholders statutorily for local JRAC, just in meeting itself, getting together, talking, communicating about these issues, it has allowed us to get out of our silos locally and to have meaningful discussions, talking about the things that matter, looking at all the different perspectives that the different stakeholders bring to the specific issue has allowed us to make decisions that better the whole system. And I think that's been our focus. That will be our focus moving forward and continue to achieve what we can as a group together.
Good afternoon. I'm Steve Soniga, Morgan County Prosecutor, and I've been asked to talk a little bit about our JRAC team and how we got there. What are some of our challenges? I think our county was fortunate in that we had been meeting with a committee called Evidence-Based Practices. And basically, it was our jail commander, probation, defense attorney, myself, a couple other stakeholders. And we were dealing mainly with jail overcrowding and moving cases. And we started looking at ways of moving cases, ways of getting people out of jail. We looked at early pleas. If somebody's been in jail 30 days on a possession of marijuana case or something, we need to get them out of there. Sometimes there's a delay in getting attorneys. And because of that, we had a pretty good relationship coming in. So when we went into the JRAC, we looked at a couple different models. But we thought we would keep the team that we had. We have very honest discussion, very open discussion. No system is perfect, no relationship's perfect, and we all come at it a little bit differently. The one piece we did add for JRAC was the mental health side. Our Centerstone representative, is probably the number one treatment provider. So we needed to add that. We meet by Zoom, but also in person. Some of the challenges has just been the drug problem. And what do we do with drug offenders? Sometimes they're safer in jail than on the streets, but yet jail is not a long-term solution. So we've looked at bridging the gap and ideas of, just structuring it better, getting families involved, getting mentors involved, anything we can. I mentioned I come at it from the prosecutor's perspective. So I'm always raising the question, what about public safety? What about victims? What about victim input? How do we explain to a victim, if we change the system, that this is actually something that is in their best interest, or at least they will be protected? And we'll have honest disagreements. One of the things we're working on now is domestic violence. the screening model for the IRAS PAT really doesn't fit well for domestic violence. Domestic violence offenders a lot of times have a job, have a home. If the case has never been reported, they've never been arrested. And there is a tool called ODERA. And we are meeting next week with our probation department to try to integrate that. One of our challenges is resources. We screen a lot of people under CR 26. We've added, I think, no staff to the prosecutor's office, 2 part-time public defenders, and then really maybe 1 person in probation. And it's a lot of work to do it and do it right. And we've been able to do a really good job of making sure that we're doing what's right, doing it effectively. So overall, I think it's been a good process. I wish we had more time. I wish we had more resources. I wish we could get more input from the community. We have gotten our commissioner and council representatives on board, and that's been invaluable because when we're talking about next year, there's already on their calendar what it's going to cost, what can we do to make a difference. We've looked at expanding services, we've looked at the use of the jail, and so I think overall it's been very helpful, very productive. There are challenges to doing it, but I look at it, we're all in the system together, and the way we work together, how we interact together, how we share information together promotes what the taxpayers pay for, and that's efficient government, protecting the public and trying to reduce recidivism, and also the treatment side of maybe some offenders won't be coming back because the system's working. So that's basically all I've got to say. I do support what we're doing, working together as a team, because I think the system has gotten so complicated with so many moving pieces that none of us can work it all alone.
Hi, I'm David Sutter. I'm the elected prosecutor here in Jefferson County, Indiana, and I am also the chair of our local JRAC. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the structure that we have picked for our local JRAC, and we already had an existing Community Corrections Advisory Board. Prior to July of this year, we were kind of sitting down, and a few of us that were on our Community Corrections Advisory Board, myself, and Amber Finnegan with our local court services, as well as our 2 judges, our elected Superior Court and Circuit Court judges. We just met like this, met on Zoom, and had the statute for the Community Corrections Advisory Board, and then the statute for JRAC, and we're looking at all the different members, and we saw some overlap. So when we were discussing this and being, a relatively smaller county of about 35 to 30,000 people, a lot of these folks that we saw in both columns on these statutes were the same. And so we wanted to be sensitive of everyone's time. And we knew that a lot of the people within our Community Corrections Advisory Board were already familiar with evidence-based decision-making, evidence-based practices, and we felt like it would be a good and natural fit for us to essentially have our local JRAC be comprised of what used to be our Community Corrections Advisory Board. We felt like that fit us best. We try to be cognizant, since we've been meeting in July, of if there are anything that we need to discuss that are Community Corrections Advisory Board only issues, but we felt like it made the most sense for us moving forward. So in looking at the members that we have that are essentially outside of what is statutorily required for JRAC, we do have representation on our current JRAC from the Department of Child Services. We have court-appointed special advocate representative from Voices for Children. We have a past victim of a crime. We have an ex-offender. We have an educational representative from Ivy Tech Community College. And then we also have representation from law enforcement outside of our elected sheriff, from the City of Madison Police Department. And then we also have a concerned citizen as well. Now, those members that are outside of the JRAC statute are included in the advisory board statute, but we felt like it was certainly appropriate for us to merge and have our Community Corrections Advisory Board become our local JRAC.
I'm Amber Finnegan. I'm the Court Services Director, and I I'm going to talk a little bit about like the operating norms and bylaws. We have chosen within our community to not change our bylaws. So our community correction bylaws are still for the Community Corrections Advisory Board. And then we have operating norms for the JRAC councils. So there are going to be times I foresee in the future where, you know, it is something, whether it is a grant approval or a policy change or a budget or something, and it'll be a Community Correction Advisory Board hat that this council goes to. We you know, they will vote on that, where me as the Community Corrections Director would not have a vote. But then we have other issues that we will have that are JRAC issues, to where my vote does count. So we do have operating norms for JRAC, and then separate bylaws for community corrections in those certain circumstances. And then the notes that we take will just reflect what was a Community Correction Advisory Board decision, and then what was a JRAC decision as well. What I did in July was that we had certain people on our advisory board that were not like, for example, the chief public defender. And so I had a public defender on my advisory board. So I contacted the chief public defender and, you know, explained JRAC, say that it's their, you know, that it's their position, and then and then made it very clear that if they were to have a designee, we had that in writing. So like, they provided a letter, and then with the expectation that they would be allowed to make decisions and have a vote in that. So those expectations were kind of laid out before, like with the actual chairperson, before the designee was appointed. We have a lot of things that are going on and a lot of exciting things that are happening in our community. So we are going to continue to meet monthly in both those aspects. Some might have some Community Correction Advisory Board things that we need to take care of, and then some might be just strictly JRAC issues that we take care of. But like I said, our agendas will clearly define out which ones those are. In the beginning of December, our local JRAC did the local JRAC data collection for the 2021 annual report. We did this as a team. It took about an hour and a half to complete the survey. And the purpose of the data collection tool was to begin to understand how our county approached criminal justice decision-making at the system level, what services are available in our county, how we measure data and how we collect that data and our performance metrics. And then that's going to be used to determine for the state as to what the needs of the locals are. The survey was explained. It will be sent out ahead of time to members, so they will be able to review it and come to the committee with answers and good discussion. And you know, just to get a good idea as to what information you are going to be asked on that survey. So I'm going to let David go ahead and talk about the content and how we did that at our meeting.
So, you know, in anticipation of our meeting, I think it was really important. Amber had sent the survey out to everyone in advance, so we could all have an opportunity to go through it and kind of prepare with regards to answering some of the questions that pertain to our specific disciplines. We're very fortunate here in Jefferson County, but we did have good buy-in and participation, whether it be county government officials, judges, law enforcement, community mental health, probation, public defenders, prosecutor's office, community corrections, and we really had a good showing of our team. I know sometimes we all have busy schedules, and it's tough to find, as Amber mentioned, 90 minutes in the middle of a day to go through this. But I did find it to be, you know, certainly very worthwhile and useful for the members. So what we did in ours was we just met via Zoom. Amber was able to, you know, essentially screen share and put the survey up so we could all be reading the questions. And then I just kind of went through them with everyone, and we had good participation from everyone. I think, you know, a few times where I felt like we got not necessarily tripped up, but you know, spent some time with some further discussion, were some situations where, you know, people were answering on behalf of an entity or on behalf of, like, for instance, all law enforcement. Some members of law enforcement may have a lot of knowledge with regards to, say, evidence-based, you know, practices, and others may not have very many. So we were having a good, healthy discussion, I think, with regards to where everyone was and is currently with regards to this process. I also think one of the things that I found to be helpful was in the process of answering the questions. I think we, realized where, some of the strengths of where we were as a community. And then also it was pretty apparent in answering some of the questions, where we needed to get in the future. And I think it's a good opportunity. It allowed us to have a good evaluation of where we are and where we're going in the future. One of the things that was interesting when we were going through the data collection questions were people saying, well, I collect this, but others maybe of our JRAC not knowing that that was happening. And so when we were going through those questions, there were a lot of things that I know that, that my agency will collect through our case management system that we weren't really sharing with everyone. And we heard that, I think, from some of the other agencies too. They were saying, well, I collect that information. And I was kind of surprised to hear that. But I think one of the things that will be a change that came about as a result of answering these questions is that, we can all kind of pool our information together to make informed decisions going forward.
Thank you for attending today's webinar. This concludes our formal session, and we will begin our question and answer session at this time. Our next webinar will offer a more in-depth discussion around state and local communication and partnership, the assistance that is currently available to local JRACs, and enhancements on the horizon, which we expect to streamline the process for communication, receiving critical information, and more.
Hi, and thank you for attending to the webinar today. I wanted to make sure that everyone was aware we will be having the local resources available and the tool on the local JRAC website. I will share my screen with you so you can see how to access that, what it will look like once you have that. So we go. Okay, so the data collection tool is basically a way to see, do you collect or where you're at with what information that you have in your county so far. So as we go through these, there's some basic questions. There's nothing, too horrible in there. They just asking about demographics, about that. And then we go into the, as you saw when Amber was talking, the different sections where we have policy level collaboration, questions in that section. And this is geared to, if you answer certain questions, it may populate other questions as a result. Section 2 is on the evidence-based knowledge of your team and training. These are things that they want your team to discuss and talk about and fill out and complete the survey together. So that gives, I think, everyone an opportunity to kind of prepare in advance as Jefferson County representatives talked about, and then be able to have those meaningful discussions. Part 3 talks about the implementation of statewide risk reduction policies and practices. So there are some questions about how those things are addressed within your community. And it looks like a lot, but it is not as bad as it thinks, because it means it could be, if it depends on how much information you have. Let's see. Okay, I'm getting background noise, so I think I will hurry up and wrap this up and then see if we have any questions. So part 4, services and programs in your county. And then the last section has to do with the performance measures, quality improvement. And this is just basically, do you have the ability to collect the information and not necessarily have to send it immediately? This is kind of just an evaluation of where you're at. The last thing I want to show you, which this might be making you sick, is that at the end of the report, there is a section that where we're requesting any attachments for documents that you may have. And we do have an email address that those can be sent to. So when you receive that information and you do decide to complete this, because this will act as your count as your annual report for the 2021 year, and listed all of the things that if you have, it would be great for you to share that we could see. And you can email those to jrac@courts.in.gov. So, and you can also email questions through that as well. I am now going to see if we have any questions. Okay, so the first question I see is how do you get a hold of the report? And we will be putting everything on the website. So if you're not familiar with the local JRAC website, if you go to the Justice Reinvestment website, there is a drop down on the left side of the screen for local JRAC. And that's where we have the training video for webinar 1 is on there now. There is a beginning screen that if you are seeking CLE credit, that you need to go through a different platform to watch that. Otherwise, it should be available. We can get that to you today. I'm looking at your questions as they come in. So I appreciate that, Joshua. I will make sure you have that today. And it will be on the website, or actually we'll be sending that out to some of the points of contact that we have in your county. But if you do want that like today, and I know it'll be available and hopefully sent out by the end of the week, but if you want that today, I can send that to you today as well as the link to start completing that. So just let me know. We do have a couple questions, polling questions that we wanted to ask. And let's see. Answer what? Okay, so yes, I will do that. And the results of the survey, that is an interesting question that we had come in. When are they due? Technically, the annual report is due the end of March of 2022. However, sooner than later is better for us as we're trying on this first year to help develop technical assistance and different formats and fashions and what might be needed in different locations. So if the sooner we get that, it's easier for our staff and what we're trying to do to be able to help you. So I would say it is due the end of March, but if we could get it before that or as soon as possible, that would be even better. Okay, I don't see any other questions. David, would you like to do the polling questions now? All right, and you will see there's a information gathering tool technical assistance questions. So first question, would it be helpful to have access to a pre-recorded video that walks through the questions on the information gathering tool? And then the second question is, would you find it helpful to have a person attend your local JRAC meeting to serve as a resource for questions as your team completes the information gathering tool? So if you could pick the, from yes, no, unsure, and then there is, sorry, there's 2 more questions, but oh. I think you have to make them bigger on your screen because that's what I had to do. Third question, would it be helpful to have a person attend your local JRAC meeting to facilitate your team's discussion and completion of the information? And the last question is, if a resource person or facilitator could only attend remotely via Zoom, for example, or some other platform, rather than in person, would your team be inclined to take advantage of this assistance as well? So if you wouldn't mind, it would be very helpful if you could answer those questions for us so we can help provide any resources that we can to any of you. If you have questions, we do have the panelists from today. Oops, sorry. And that presented, I have with us on the phone or on Zoom, Amber Finnegan, Andrea Geigel, Angela Morris, Brian Foley, Hillary Hartwine, Justice Golf, and Sheriff Brett Clark from the Indiana Sheriff's Association. And oh, yes, we will put the link actually, I'm still sharing my screen, so I will show that momentarily. Do you have that? Okay. We're getting that link for you. Yes, it's in the comment section for the participants. It is at www.in.gov /justice/local-JRAC. So indiana.gov/justice/local and then -JRAC, and that will get you to the JRAC site. From there, on the drop-down menu on the right side, or I'm sorry, on the left side, you will be able to find the local JRAC page, and that's where we will be putting that information. We'll also be having a way for you to communicate changes to the structure of your local JRAC so that we can update our directory. The directory should be live coming up this week. And if you have stated that you are a local JRAC and answered the original survey from October, we will have that on there. You would be listed on the directory. And then those that have done that since that time, we will add later. We will be conducting additional webinars in the future. The next one, we're trying to schedule one to actually have an idea and to find out if there's interest in having something where someone walks through with the county to do the information gathering tool and to get that data collection annual report information. We are also working on highlighting how other counties have used the information and worked as a local JRAC team to discover other things that needed changed or the need for things that have prompted further exploration into starting new programs or adapting the programs to make them more accessible, you know, and just trying to identify what those gaps are and how to better address them and, you know, as a community. So we are aiming for January, and I would say end of January for the next webinar. And as soon as the date is determined, it will be placed on the website as a save the date. That's also where the registration link will be. In addition to the webinar 2, once this is completed and the closed captioning has been edited and everything, that will also be posted on the website as well. And Justice Goff, thank you.
Hi, Angie. Well, thank you, Angie, and thank you to all of our county teams who participated today. I've been paying attention to the questions as they've come in, and just to emphasize Angie's answer, we want to be interactive and supportive of all of our local teams. And so if there is an interest in receiving the form for the report, the template, we're going to make sure that we get that to your team today if you ask for it. And the instrument is front loaded. There's some work that we request be done by the local teams at the front end. And just so you know, the purpose of that is so that we can better tailor our technical assistance to fit the needs of your county. And so if you need assistance in facilitating that discussion, we want to make sure that you have it. And so please indicate that there's an interest, and we'll determine how best to get that assistance to you, of course, controlling for our capacity. So that one of the questions in our poll was whether or not there would be an interest in a pre-recorded video that you might be able to share with some of your members, particularly your lay members. So thank you, and more to come. And the more you can participate in this, the more tailored, frankly, our discussion and our instruction and assistance at the webinars can be. So we really appreciate you attending today and your thoughtful comments about what you hear. And invite any other comments or thoughts as they come in. Sheriff Clark, you've been participating in this, and Amber, you've been instrumental in this. Any other stakeholders while we still have a few moments?
Yeah, I think we are open. If anyone has questions for how the locals there today, we wanted to show you how local JRAC had formed different ways. And if you have any questions for the panelists or any of our state stakeholders, please put those in the comments and we can answer those. So it looks like most people are requesting the form, and that may be that you'll have questions after. So we are getting a lot of traffic on sending the questions, and we can do that. We will get those out to all of you today. And then if you do have questions after, you can either email myself or address those to the JRAC website. Would anyone else like to say anything before we go?
You know, one thing that I want to make sure that we add and emphasize, especially to our folks who are interested in attending today, and as you have discussions with your local partners, the website that Angie and her team are building for local JRACs is embedded in our Supreme Court website. And that's eventually going to become, we hope, a one-stop shop for your local criminal justice system as you seek to implement system improvements. So everything from joint training to grant applications, we hope to simplify what you do administratively so that you have expanded capacity to do what your day job is. And so keep looking at that website because it's going to continue to grow. And we think as you participate in these discussions with us, become increasingly more useful to you and those people that you serve in your community. That's all I have. Thanks again to everybody who made today's webinar possible. And thank you to everybody who's expressed an interest in what we're doing here with this important state and local partnership.